Welcome to Walk Talks, episode 2. Today I was thinking about, what was I thinking about just now? Oh yeah, if somebody popped up on you randomly and scouted what you were doing, the question is, what would you be found doing? Would you be found bettering yourself for what you want to do in life, or would you be found doing something that doesn't matter for the end goal? If the answer was number 2, you should think about it. Either maybe that's not really what you want to do, or maybe you just don't know what you could be doing in your spare time to get where you want to get to. But for me, I want to try to do as much as I can for as long as I can to be found doing what I want to be doing, even if I'm not getting paid to do it yet. For instance, you guys pretty much know what I want to do, I think, and if you don't, you can ask me. But whenever I'm not at work, I'm trying to be surrounded by people who have a dream that they want to chase but need some help, or have things that they want to do in life but they need somebody to kind of walk on their side to do it. That's what I want to be able to do, and that's what I do. When I'm not at work, I'm usually at church if I can be, and I'm working with the youth group there, and they all have different things that they want to be able to pursue and chase in life. So I surround myself with people like that. I surround myself with dreamers and people that want to do something more than just work their jobs. Which isn't a bad thing, I've said before. It's not a bad thing to just work your job. But if you're just working your job, don't hate on those people who aren't trying to work your job. It's like I said in another video, it is about consistency. But you got to make sure you're consistently doing the right thing. You can be consistently not doing anything, and that's still consistent, but you're not consistently working towards what you want. If the person who made your dream job able to come true was scouting you, what would he find you doing? Would he find you doing stuff that's going to get you closer to where you want to get in life? That dream job, that dream work industry, would it get you there, or would he find you doing stuff that's going to take you away from that? The enemy of something great is something good. Too many times people settle for what's good because they don't see what's great. So they stop there and they're like, oh, I can settle for this. But in their mind, they really wanted something way better. But since this opportunity presented itself, they took it. And they jumped on that train, and then they never wanted to chase their dreams any further because what they got was sufficient. And I don't mean sufficient dollar-wise. I mean sufficient, like, this is close enough to my dream to do it. But what if it wasn't? What if in time you started to hate it? You started to hate your job again. You started to dislike it again. But since you took that step towards that job and towards that career and towards that path, what if that detoured you from something that was literally right around the corner at the time? But now, since you went down that path, working a different job with different hours or whatever, that now you basically got to start over from scratch. And now inside that starting over from scratch, you might get discouraged again and completely just not do that. And then you'll be forever running a rat race where you're not really getting to where you wanted to get to in the first place, all because you compromised on your dream and settled for something that was less. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes there's a stepping stone of pathways that you got to go through. But sometimes there's some steps that you got to not take. Sometimes a step can take you off of the path that you're trying to be on. And sometimes a step can take you even closer to where you want to be at in the future. But never just jump into a step. I think all the steps that you take should be thought about and well thought out, so you know the step that you're taking. And then you can say with confidence that if it's taking you closer or if it's taking you further from where you want to go. What I want to do is obviously be closer and be more surrounded by people who are dream oriented like myself, that believe that working isn't the end of the rope, but there's something that each person can do either outside of work or for their job or the thing that makes them money, and they can love it. And they can glorify God by doing it. And I think that's what all of us are really called to do. But there's a ton of people who get sidetracked off of that path because they compromise. And I get it. Sometimes the unexpected happens. You get a family, you have kids, you get a ticket. I don't know, things where you feel like you need to make that much more money and you need to sustain a certain style of living in order to live, basically. So I guess what I'm saying is, for the people that aren't yet in that predicament where they need to make X amount of dollars to live, don't worry about the dollar sign. Just make enough to suffice for now. That's what you need. And then with the rest of your spare time, don't just let it be spare. Work towards what you want in life. Because if you don't work towards what you want in life, then you'll probably never get it. A lot of people just dream and kind of dream by itself. And they want to do it and they say they talk about it all the time. But then when they get a couple of minutes of free time or a couple hours of free time or a day off work, they just relax. Or they just chill. But what we ought to be doing is when we get that day off or that free time, we ought to be not using that for free time, but use that for dream chasing time. Because we're not always granted a lot of time, but it's about what we do with our time. Everybody gets the same exact 24 hours in a day. And off the top, if you're in high school, there goes like 6 of your hours. If you're working, there goes like 8 of your hours. Kind of, even though you can be productive and be working at the same time depending on where you are. But I guess that doesn't matter too much. So you got 8 hours out of the 24 already gone. Then you sleep for about 6 to 8 hours, if we're just talking average here. There goes another, let's just call that 16 hours are gone right now. So you got another 8 hours that you got to cram, getting closer to your dreaming, family time, friends, eating to stay alive, transportation, and that's really about it. And that's where it matters right there. Those 8 hours, everybody has close to the same, unless they commute super far or whatever their situation is. Maybe they are a single mother with 5 kids, so they have less time, obviously, because they got to devote as much time as they can to their kids. And I've known single mothers who find a way to still pursue what they love. So I'm actually about to walk through the Moreno Valley Mall. And I remembered back when I used to work there a couple years back, remembered why, I mean, half of me always hated the Moreno Valley Mall because I worked there and it was dead all the time. But now that I look back, I kind of like the Moreno Valley Mall because I feel like it's filled with people that are trying to chase their dreams or people that are chasing their dreams and opening up little mom and pop shops. Like, you don't see that at most malls. Most malls are like all the big retailer stores. And if you do see the smaller mom and pop shops, like, you just don't notice them. But in my time at the Moreno Valley Mall, a ton of people had mom and pop shops. Of course, you got the regular cell phone providers downstairs. Not providers, but like the cell phone case people. You always got those people, which I don't know what they're really doing, or if that's like a huge company or what. Oh dang, $1.50 Sundays at the $2 theater. Y'all should check that out. But it's a really good deal. But there was always like, there was this card shop that was in there. And that was like that dude's hobby and that dude's dream. He always loved playing cards and things like that. And then he rented out like a real small room next to where we were at in the Foot Locker. And then he grew and took over like the biggest section of the mall, and it would have like playing card tournaments in there of whatever sort. You name it, he probably played it in there. They had Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments, Pokemon tournaments, Magic card tournaments. I don't know what else because I didn't play more card games than that, but I definitely played those 3, and they had those 3 for sure. Thank you. Yeah, that was one example of a guy that was definitely chasing his dream and being able to open up a shop and grow from the ground up. And I liked watching that, even though I hated it at the time, because there was always a whole bunch of weird kids that would wander into my store and ask me about, where's the card shop at? I need to get to the card shop. And of course, I didn't really know where it was because I didn't pay any attention to it. Or if I didn't know where it was, I just didn't want to tell them because I'd rather laugh about it and watch them struggle finding it. But yeah, if you think that you can't do your dream, then you probably won't ever do it. But if there is any glimmer of hope that you have, you should probably just chase it, because you only get one life. Well, one life on earth. Anyways, once you die, you'll have one more. But it's not gonna be the same. So you really have one life to do what you are made to do, or find exactly what you're made to do. And then it's up to you if you wanna do it or not. But if you don't do it, you'll probably be regretting it when you're older. It's like one of the main things that like old people say, like, if I could go back, I would do this. I would have, whatever. They always have some cool stories. I love hanging out with old people. Even though old people don't really like me, I like some old people. Just not all of them. But I don't want to grow up and be old and regret everything in my life that I didn't do. I'd rather do a whole bunch of stuff and then find out I don't like it and then just stop doing it. It's that simple. And then I can never say, oh, I regret whatever. I was talking to Nathan the other day, good friend, good kid in my youth group, and I was telling him, man, sometimes I wish I could go back and redo the year right after high school. And then I was like, but sometimes I kind of like it, because then I wouldn't know the things I would know. Because if I went back, I would have to go back with the same knowledge that I have. But if I went back with the same knowledge that I had, I wouldn't have done. I got the knowledge from after that first year of high school, the first couple of years, where I was just doing a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't like. But now, of course, I have that knowledge because I went through doing stuff I don't like. So if I went back and took out that first year, then I would also take away the knowledge that went with it. And then that wouldn't make any sense, because then I'd have to just realistically do it all again. So I'm pretty happy at where I'm at right now, even though it's an uphill battle and I'm finally figuring out what I want to do. I'll get there someday, and so will you guys. Just make sure we keep on striving for it.